Dean Logan. I'm the Registrar-Recorder County Clerk for Los Angeles County, and really my role on election night is to oversee the administration of the election, the counting of the ballots, and all elements of administering the election.
Okay, and how's it been going so far?
I would describe today's election as smooth and steady. We had a steady stream of voters throughout the day, no major issues, typical little bumps along the way that you would expect in a operation of this magnitude, stretched over 4,600 polling locations, dealing with 24,000 poll workers. But again, really, for the most part, smooth operation. Now we're sort of at that point in the evening where we're waiting for the ballots to physically get back here to our headquarters to be counted. So we still have a lot of work ahead of us. We also have a 28-day post-election canvass period where we'll do auditing and add in additional vote-by-mail ballots and provisional ballots, that type of thing.
And so have there been any reported issues? What have been the reported issues at polling places and things like that?
Well, those that I have direct awareness about, we had some issues with, typically we'll have issues with supplies that are missing or that need to be replaced, equipment issues that where there have been equipment breakdowns, we have to dispatch out people to either swap out and replace equipment, poll workers who either weren't able to show up on this morning when the polls open or who had to be replaced throughout the day. So real typical things associated with that type of an operation. There were a couple of incidences reported of campaigns that were a little overly zealous about campaigning within 100 feet of the polling place, which is prohibited, so we were able to contact them and address those issues as well. But really, those were the kind of issues we were dealing with throughout the day, nothing of really large magnitude.
Great. And when will all the votes be coming in? When will they have all been received?
Right, so the polls closed at 8 o'clock p.m. this evening. Any voter who was in line at 8 o'clock still has the opportunity to vote, so the polling places remain open until all of those voters have voted. The poll workers then seal up the ballots. They take them to one of 74 check-in centers that are located throughout the county. Then from those 74 check-in centers, the ballots are transported here to Norwalk by sheriff patrol car or helicopter. And that's from all over the county. So that process is starting right now. We've started to receive a few of those precincts in here, but of course we are a very large county and it will take a while. Probably starting around 9:30 or 9:45, we'll see a steady stream of constant movement, and we'll be updating election results every 20 minutes at that point. It'll probably be the early morning hours of Wednesday before we have that unofficial final total. Probably, oftentimes it's 3 or 4 in the morning before we get those final ballots in on election night. And then that's just the election night total. We still will have, as I mentioned, we'll still have more vote-by-mail ballots and provisional ballots to be processed in the coming days. We'll do another update on Friday.
And what's the turnout been like?
We expect that the turnout's probably going to be in the low 70 percentile of registered voters. We do a sampling throughout the day, an hourly sampling, and at the end of the night we were at about 68%. Once you factor in the provisional ballots and the vote-by-mail ballots, I think that'll creep up to probably 72, 73% by the time we're done.
And how does that compare to previous presidential election years?
It's on par with kind of a historic average of presidential election years. It's actually lower than 2008. 2008 was a phenomenal year, record-setting year in many respects, the highest turnout that we had since 1968. So it'll be a while before we see that duplicated. Also a little lower than we saw in 2004 in terms of percentage of votes cast, but the raw number of ballots cast, because we have more registered voters now than ever, will probably be on par with that year.
Okay. And we've been getting some reports about voters experiencing difficulty. They filled out their ballot and didn't look right, and they tried to get it verified, but they couldn't. Apparently poll workers just took it and stuffed it into the ballot box. Have you heard any complaints about that?
I haven't heard of anything of that nature. We certainly have voters who show up at polling places and aren't listed in the roster, or who bring in a vote-by-mail ballot and to surrender and get a regular ballot. But again, we have 4,600 polling locations, and those calls are logged in our call center, and we do a post-election analysis of all of those, but I have not heard of that specific concern. Certainly voters have the right to a replacement ballot if they've made errors, and there also is equipment at the polling place to alert them if their ballot is being read as blank or if they've overvoted on a particular contest.
Okay. And when do you expect to be going home tonight?
Well, I think it'll be more like tomorrow morning. So probably, if things go well, I think probably maybe 3 or 4 tomorrow morning.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Great.